Come, hold my hand. Let's go on an adventure.
Welcome to Momatic Adventures. This is your host, Effie McMorris, and I'm here with my very cool co-host, Ryan McMorris, and we go by Momo and
Appa.
We parent a toddler and travel full-time with our family. And in these episodes, we kind of talk about what that's like. In today's episode, we are going to talk about New Orleans. We have already talked about New Orleans a bit. So if you haven't listened to that episode, definitely go back and do it or don't.
Yeah, I mean, it's just different stuff about New Orleans. If this one seems more like your style, you can listen to this one first.
Yeah, but there's some information on that one that you're not going to get from this one.
Yeah, otherwise it would just be the same episode twice.
No, makes sense. First and foremost, I want to talk about some podcast things. This is our 21st episode that will be released. Only 10% of podcasts make it this far. So we are very cool. We're
Creme
good.
de la creme.
Creme de la creme, I think. I don't think you say cream de la creme, do you?
I think it's cream, like cream corn.
Grody. Gross. Poppy said grody the other day. It was very funny. Today, I had like an interview thing with a PR company that seemed promising. We have some plans that we've made for the next few months. So there's been some really cool, awesome things.
Big things coming. Tap in to like and subscribe and follow the adventure.
There you go. Yeah, big things coming. Tap in, like, subscribe, rate, review, find us on.
Set like a reminder on your phone to like come back to this in a month.
Ooh, yeah. Or follow on YouTube and social medias and this app, your podcast streaming app, and all.
Yeah, I think most of them have follows now, right?
Most of all the people in the world.
No, the apps like say you can follow this podcast now, right?
Like in the app?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think I know either. Okay, so some of the places we're going to talk about today are the zoo, the insectarium, the aquarium, and then I want to talk about this place that Poppy and I went to. It's called the Hellas Foundation, and it's at the John Scott Center. They're like an artist collective, and they share different things in the community. But they often have children's classes, and Poppy and I went to like 5 or 6 of them. They were so good, just so interesting, so interactive. It was like, I think only like a 45-minute class. It was free. It was like 6 classes. All you had to do was sign up. Obviously, like everything else in every other episode, I will link all the places we talk about in the show notes. But the Hellas Foundation is also a wonderful community-driven space for artists, for musicians. Obviously, New Orleans is like built off musicians and artists. I think that's a really wonderful.
What type of classes were they?
It was a music kids story time. It was these 2 like gentlemen who I want to say one was named Brian, and I can't remember what the other one was called.
Not Brian.
Not Brian. I think that's what it was. It was Brian and not Brian.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people are doing that these days.
They weren't brothers or anything. You think that they just happened to both have names like that?
As a workplace, if I'm hiring a Brian, I would want a not Brian as well.
Got it. Sure. And the other place that I wanted to make sure we bring up was the pizzerias that we went to while we were there.
Like Louisiana Pizza Kitchen.
You heard of this?
I think that was one of them, right?
I think it actually was, yes.
Right by the streetcar turn.
Which I think just in and of itself, hilarious name. Good job.
Louisiana Pizza Kitchen.
Because California Pizza Kitchen is a famous, well-known, and then this way they can, I don't know, whatever, do that. I also want to bring up that show that we just finished watching last night. That dating show about podcaster, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Nobody wants this.
Nobody wants this.
Nobody wants this. I couldn't relate to Kristen Bell more in like, not in life. I feel like in life, she makes some really interesting choices that I'm always like, what in the heck? But then like the shows she does, I'm always like, is that me? Am I that person?
You think you're just Kristen Bell?
Yep.
Okay.
Or the hot sister. I hope the hot sister.
We all would love to be. She's in Succession, you know that?
Was she in Succession?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Who was she?
She's an actor, so she'll be in a
Oh,
couple
she'll be in
shows.
like other things.
Yeah.
Wow. And like a working actress. Good for her. I wonder where she's from.
Probably Canada.
Or New Orleans.
Could be.
Could be.
Bringing it back.
But that show was really, I feel like, is like the thing right now. And so I just wanted to say, if you're interested in finding the Kristen Bell before Kristen Bell became the actress playing that person for that podcast, I'm her. So you should listen to this.
That was a walk.
It was a stroll.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
you're a Kristen Bell type.
Oy vey, I'm definitely the losers this year. Okay. And then the other place I do want to talk about is Zoo to You. I think we have to talk about it. That's the zoo we drove to.
Oh, yes, yes.
So wild. Okay, so I think we'll start with the actual zoo, then like New Orleans zoo. It was good.
It was good. I think it was
a little pricey, I feel like. But one of the things that we're really keen on doing when we end up in a new place is Googling the locals, basically get like free days at certain places, especially if we are able to provide something saying that we're living in the town at the time. It will give us free tickets.
Or discounted.
So I think it was like $30 maybe for a person, and then kids were like $10. But we went on a Wednesday or a Monday or some like random fucking day, and I don't think we spent enough time there. I think it didn't work out with naps because at that time she was still napping twice a day, and so I feel like we squeezed it between nap times.
No, I think couldn't get out of work until and then I think we like it kind of was like the zoo is closing at 5 or 6 and we got there at 4:30 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And so we kind of rushed through it, but they had some really dope animals, and Poppy was just at the point because she was like 1, so she was just at the point where she was actually able to say, oh, I know that animal or whatever.
Yeah, and she could recognize a couple, do the signs for them.
Yeah, and would be just like really stoked to be like, oh, that's a elephant, or we saw pink birds, which were flamingos.
The flamingos.
Flamingos.
And then I think we did like the reptile house, and she liked.
Oh yeah,
she really liked that.
She loves a lizard and a frog and anything that resembles a dinosaur. Seemingly, she's really interested in hanging out with them and seeing why they look different than her and Tilly.
But yeah, I think it was a manageable place.
Yeah, it also was not very busy, I think, because of the time that we went, because of sort of how it is. But there was just so much to do. So there's a cafeteria there. If you want to eat, there's peacocks like wandering the floor. Obviously, they have different areas of the zoo. But then they also had like a play area, and they had different spots to sit down. There were some monuments so you could sort of climb on things, a big water area.
Yeah, some fountains.
Yeah, that's the word.
I think they had, if I remember correctly, they had strollers that you could
rent.
I don't even know if it was rent. I think it might have just been like, take it.
Maybe, yeah.
And then also, it is New Orleans, so you could just have a beer. You could buy beers at little stalls and walk around.
Having a beer at the zoo. Yeah. Which is always so nice.
Yeah. It was, I mean, at the aquarium as well, which aquarium I feel like is weirder somehow just because it's inside. But
yeah, probably. That's probably a big part. But the other thing about the aquarium, it was connected to the insectarium. So it's kind of like split into two things. And with the free for people in the area days, it was once a week. The first week we went to the zoo, then the next week we went to the insectarium, and then we went to the aquarium or whatever. And again, it was kind of that situation where you have to park a little bit far away. You do have to pay for parking. We probably should have taken the streetcar, realistically.
Probably. But we were far on the streetcar line.
And because of the time restraints, we kind of had to get there as quickly as possible. For the insectarium and the aquarium, if you can, I recommend not driving. The zoo had parking, which was nice.
Yeah, the zoo is also right on the streetcar line.
Everything was right on the streetcar line. We had to walk across the streetcar line from the parking lot to get to the aquarium.
I would also say that the aquarium and insect, if you're not doing the free day, you can do them in the same day.
Oh, for sure.
And they have a joint ticket. I think that saves you a couple bucks.
100%. Yes.
Because the insectarium was...
It's smallish.
Small. It was cool, but it was small.
Yeah, it was definitely like a bit more, you're at the aquarium and then also we have these bugs, whereas we made a day of it. And it was so cool because they did have the butterfly enclosure at the insectarium and you got to see chrysalises, and they even had like an area where they made bugs into food, and Poppy ate like a bug cookie.
Yeah, they had like
cockroach
cricket cookies that were pretty good.
Yeah, that right? Like you both seemingly liked them.
Yeah.
At that point, she could definitely sign more. And she was like, more.
And they had, I think, like either fried or baked crickets that had like popcorn style seasoning on them that were pretty good too.
It was a fun, like, thing, especially if you're a 6 or 7 year old and you like bugs. I feel like that would just be so fun to be like, I got to eat a bug. So cool. And then you get a sticker that says, I ate bugs.
Yeah. Yeah, I was such a bug kid. I would have gone wild.
I would have done it just for the ability to be like, haha, look what I did. I'm so weird or whatever. Just because I like to be different.
Contrarian.
Yep.
But the zoo was good. Are we moving on from the zoo?
I know we don't have to move on. I think we can kind of talk about all three. They're all sort of part of the same thing. They're just in different areas. But yeah, the zoo was dope. The zoo,
and it's right by a huge park.
Yes. I think the zoo is in the conservatory park area.
Yeah, the Audubon Conservatory, I think is what
it's called. Yeah. I mean, it is called the Audubon Zoo. They had monkeys. And oh my goodness, they had so many different funny animals because they had seals, and like you can watch the seals from underwater, and it was just so freaking cool. Because I think I'm just a big seal person, so I really enjoyed that. And the bat cave, they have like a cave thing that you can walk through that's all dark, and it has bats.
Oh yeah, and it has like nocturnal animals and stuff like that. That was really cool. I forgot about that.
I'm trying to think if there was any other like stand apart animals or like moments at the zoo that really...
They had like, and now Poppy, I wasn't doing this, but like they had like scavenger hunt type of
activities,
interactive things at some of the exhibits. So I think a 5-year-old that's like, oh, I'm bored of seeing the lion, can maybe get more out of it if they're doing it as part of like I'm like saving the lions from the poachers. Let's go to the next one to see the rhinos and see what's happening there and stuff like that.
Yeah. I also think for the kids who maybe get a little nervous and scared, it gives you like an alternative for maybe seeing the lions or seeing the whatever it is kind of bird. So I think having those different learning experiences, being able to learn in multiple ways is so beneficial for kids, which makes me think they kind of know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And we were there in March, so we were very lucky to enjoy amazing weather. And that day was no different. I definitely would also take that into consideration. It can get very hot in New Orleans, and it can also rain and flood pretty quickly. So you have to be conscious of the weather when you're out doing things. So take that into consideration. That's it. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. And the aquarium and insectarium are entirely inside. So like if you have a rainy day or bad weather day.
Yeah, maybe do those.
Solid. And then the maybe like $5 or $6 parking is worth it to not.
Yeah, I think it was like less than $10 for the parking, especially because we only paid for a little amount of time. The other really cool thing in the bug area was they had all these larger bugs that you could see and learn more about what they look like. I feel like typically with bugs, kids are getting really dirty. The cool thing about the insectarium was that they could learn and see things about bugs without seemingly needing to get dirty and then have to clean up a bunch. And then the other thing that was really cool about the insectarium was the butterfly enclosure. So you have to walk through sort of one of those like foyers or whatever that closes behind you so everyone can like be protected and no one gets escaped. No one escapes the butterfly enclosure unless we want them to.
Oh, yeah, and they do a check before you leave to make sure there's no butterflies on you.
Yeah. I definitely think if you have kids who are like, she was just at the point where she was really, really keen to try and touch them and grab them and you're not supposed to. So there's certainly a level of like, if you have kids who just kind of can't handle that and are like, I'm gonna grab them, maybe this isn't the one for them. The aquarium is like your typical aquarium. It's so fucking dope. You can touch certain types of fish.
Yeah, it has like the stingray.
Yeah, that's what they're.
I feel like we're maybe more team aquarium than most families, but yeah, like it's a good aquarium. It wasn't a standout aquarium, but it was not bad at all.
Why do you think we're more than other families? You think other people aren't keen on aquarium?
I don't know. I feel like we do a lot of aquariums.
We have. You think we've been to like 10 aquariums?
I mean, we went to the Atlanta one recently, and we went to this New Orleans one.
We went to one just the other day.
Camden.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Here we went to one. Here.
I'm thinking like even before when she was under 1, we had gotten to aquariums. So.
Yeah, I'm saying we went to aquariums before she was born. Even.
Oh, yeah. We love a good fish.
So, yeah, I'm saying like we are big aquarium.
I guess I'm just thinking like our aquarium's bad.
No, like, I just think that like some people might be like, okay, because I mean they are in a lot of cities. They are similar.
True. Yeah, you're gonna be seeing the stingrays and the sharks and the little fish and the catfish and the
some jellyfish. And
it's your basic aquarium. They did have the tunnel of you're underwater and you're sort of walking through this cave of water. I mean, I personally am such a...
And I think they had penguins, right?
Oh, yeah, they did have penguins. They were so cute. I'm such a... I mean, who isn't? Again, who's like, penguins, I hate those. But yeah, I think penguins are pretty cool, personally. Do you have anything else about those 3 that you feel like...
I think with the parking, I think they do give you some validation or something like that. But trying to figure out which parking garage it is for was pretty confusing. So again, I think that's another kind of tick
if you could look into it. Yeah, it's probably worth it.
Or for public transit just to go. If you're in New Orleans, most likely if you're only there for a week or so, you're probably closer than we were. So I would say take the trolley, take the streetcar, whatever they call it.
I would say all 3 are worth it, especially if you're there for a week with kids. You know, you're trying to make the most of it for both sides of it. So being able to take them to the insectarium and the aquarium for like 10 hours or 5 hours or whatever, and then have dinner, take them home. Maybe they go to sleep and you guys go out and enjoy the nightlife.
It's also, I think it's by Canal Street, so it's pretty close to Canal Street, the zoo and the aquarium, or no, the insectarium and the aquarium.
Yeah. The zoo's on like the other side.
Yeah, but the insectarium and aquarium. So you could, if you want to do the morning for the kids and the afternoon for the adults, you could do that in the morning and then get some lunch and cocktails.
Can you take drinks on the streetcar? I feel like you can, right?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah,
it's wild.
So cool. I like don't even drink, but there's just something about the accessibility that I think is so beneficial. And then also, if you're drinking, you should not be driving. And so to be able to like drink and take it on the streetcar is like, yes, please.
I think that the streetcar drivers are not allowed to drink.
Aw.
But everybody else can.
Boo.
Which, I mean, like, they're not turning, so.
They're on tracks.
They're on the
I don't
tracks.
really get what the issue is. I mean, I think they were all 3 of those places are great. I think the streetcar is great. Yes to all of them. I think those are probably like if you're going with kids and you're looking for like 5 or 6 activities: insectarium, aquarium, zoo, baby cafe, which we talked about in the last episode, and the children's museum are all key takeaway places to go with your kids. Everything else essentially is just an add-on. If you have more than a week, maybe you can start going to some other of these places, or do what works best for your family. But those, I think, were like the best places for kids. And then Toast for food, which I talked about last week. But I'm just never going to get over having a play area for kids. So I think that's all the places except for Zoo to You, which I'm so excited to talk about. This is like maybe why I started the podcast. Talking about this zoo. So it's called Zoo to You.
The number 2.
Yes. It is a party zoo company, maybe. We paid them money. It was Easter weekend, I think. And so they were having a big Easter thing where you could come and see the animals, where typically you'd have to hire them and they would bring the animals to you, to the letter U.
Oh, hence the name, Zoo to You. Yeah.
But so this was like, they were like, okay, $25 a car, I think was the...
I think it was more than that, but maybe. No, I think it was per person. And then Poppy was free because she was under a year.
Potentially.
Or we said she was under a year.
Yeah. She that day happened to be under a year. That hour.
Sometimes it skips.
Okay, so a few things. It's in an area of Louisiana called Folsom, and it is across the entire lake. So it's one, if you are not a bridge person, if you do not like to drive across water, maybe not the way for you to go. There's ways to get there, but it'll take you like 3 hours. Or you drive 1 hour straight over water. And it essentially is like a family, I guess. I don't really know. A bit of like sort of business, and they just have collected animals, like, and it is animals that I was shocked to see together. Like they had a wallaby, I think. Maybe
I think they had 2 wallabies.
Yeah,
it's very Tiger King vibes.
Oh, like it was. I think it was even weirder than Tiger King, because at least Tiger King's like, oh, I like tigers or big cats, but this guy was like, or these people or whatever.
Family,
and they seemed essentially like they were somewhat businessy, but it was like kind of a working farm, kind of a place where they just had a bunch of animals. So there were like dogs, there were horses, chickens, pigs. Oh, remember the little baby pigs? And we just got to sit there and they would like sit on Poppy, and the little chickens, they just let you hold chickens, and like they had a box of like 20 chickens, and they were like, here, just like hold them. Like, and they had a 15-year-old kid watching
supervising them. And then he left and everybody was
just like grabbing them or whatever. And I was essentially like, he walked away and I was like, oh, none of these chicks are surviving this day. They're essentially just like
sacrifice fodder.
Sacrifice chicks for the day. But they had an alligator or a crocodile. They had some type of one of those things in a cage. A camel.
Yeah, there was, I think, 2 camels.
I think there was only 1 camel and 2 wallabies. They had they had otters, which when I had looked at this place, it was kind of part of the reason I was so keen to go, was that they were like, oh, you can play with the otters. And I was like, oh, I'm going to play with otters. Like, yes, please. And then they were kept out of water and they were like in their cage, which they don't have to be in water, but I'm pretty sure prefer it. And
I think they want access to water.
And they were mean. They were snippy and snappy. They had, what else did they have? They had like a lynx cat, I think.
That
like,
was cool, yeah.
All of the animals were cool. They had this huge snake. Oh my God, it was massive. And then they had other insects and turtles and lizards and stuff just in cages that people could just pick up, take out, and put back. And now we're going to take a break to hear from one of our sponsors.
We'll be right back to talk about more animals at Zoo to You.
Zoo to You.
Zoo to You.
I'm also kind of thinking, if we decide we want to turn Nomadic Adventures into a cult, and we did like we did at church and shake hands with people, that's what we would say to each other. And Zoo to You. And Zoo to You. This episode is brought to you by Rochambeau. If you're out there with your kids and I don't have the confidence.
If you're adventuring with your family, the worst thing that could ever happen is to break your glasses.
Have you ever been out adventuring with your family and your dang glasses break.
I actually did
man.
have that happen.
That's the worst.
I was out and my glasses broke, and then I had to take the train home without my glasses, and it was very hard because I need my glasses to see.
Yeah. So with Rochambeau, they have bendable frames, glasses, and
they've got those super polycarbonate lenses, so they don't really scratch and they don't really break.
If you're a kid and you're playing on the playground, the last thing you want to do is...
You got that rough and tumble lifestyle.
You don't want to lose your glasses. They're your eyesight. That's how you adventure. That's how you explore. So head to Rochambeau.com and use code MOMADIC to get 20% off your order.
And how do you spell Momatic?
MOMADIC.
Great. So go get some glasses that you won't regret getting.
Yeah. And by supporting our sponsors, you support our show. And we appreciate it. And we love you. Thanks so much. So thanks so much for sitting through that ad. I know that it can be tough, but we really appreciate when you listen to our ads because...
That's how the podcast works. That's how the podcast game works.
That's how the podcast game works.
So you're talking about otters?
I was talking about otters and how it's a real bummer that otters don't have the opportunity to access fresh water when they're in this cage. And so they were a little crabby and they did not want to play with me. I was beyond bummed about that. Because like that whole day, all I wanted was I drove an hour over the lake to pet a fucking otter, and I didn't get to. I went to this guy's sketch zoo that I could pet a goddamn otter, and it didn't happen. Mm-hmm. But you're empty. You need another.
I'm okay.
Trying to bowl a 130.
What that means?
When you're 2 beers deep. You bowl a 130 because you're like moving and grooving.
Gotcha. Yeah, I would say Zoo to You is also seasonal, so it's like can't always go.
Oh, yeah. It was 100% just an event. I believe you hire and they bring the animals to your kid's birthday party or your...
I would just say for people, if you're visiting New Orleans, the chances are you're not going to be there when
you might not, but we also, I mean, we had no idea. I looked online. One of the it was actually like a nanny I met at a baby cafe who was like, "Oh, I'm going to send you a couple things in the area that you guys might be interested in," and she happened to send that to me. And I was like, man, we don't want to drive an hour to see animals. We had already gone to the zoo at that point. And my mom was going to be in town. And we were like, she's flying out to come see us and spend time with Poppy. I was like, do we really want to sit in the car for an hour there and an hour back? And then I saw that I could maybe pet otters. And I was like, we're fucking doing it. And so in that aspect, I wanted to be really bummed. But it also was so cool. Like, we got to be close to animals that I don't think we really would have been that close to. And like, I don't know, just at that time, she got to sit and like pet the lambs and pet the little baby goats and the little baby pigs. And they were sitting on her and like.
Yeah, there was a good deal of petting zoo style.
Yeah, it was very petting zoo style.
And for some like animals that you probably should not be
witnessing in New Orleans.
Interacting with, and then also in New Orleans in general.
And like that close to water, but also maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah.
Unless you're an otter, that might be good.
I would say if you're
in the area, you can check it, like look at it, and you want to take the trip. You have a car. You're not like don't rent a car to go there.
And I feel if you have any ethical misgivings, they are correct. So don't go.
You have to be a little willing to put aside the fact that like
it's definitely not good that these animals are here.
Yeah. It might be better than what we don't know.
It's not.
they might be dead if not for being in that place. But yeah, it probably wasn't good. I'm trying to justify it because I need to give myself the ability to accept that I had so much fun there and enjoyed going there with my family. But you know what? Hundreds and thousands, if not millions of people have been to...
Zoo to You?
No, I was thinking the other one, the aquarium.
SeaWorld?
SeaWorld, yeah.
I mean, SeaWorld also doesn't have a stellar track record.
They like exclusively don't. That's my point. Yeah. So like, I don't feel that bad about going to Zoo to You, I guess is saying. Yeah, so Zoo to You, it's definitely like if you have any ethical misgivings, if you don't have access to a car, if you But if you are listening to this, you're like, I live in New Orleans and I fucking love it there. And I didn't know this crazy ass petting zoo mix and match was going to be available. It's Thursday. Let's go.
Sure.
Whatever. And then let's talk pizza. Louisiana Pizza Kitchen, Mid-City Pizza. And I think those might have been the only two true pizza places we went. So for anybody who doesn't know, I'm a pizza gal. Love it through and through. Best food in the world. And Poppy May was born on National Pizza Day. We got married at a pizza place. I feel like pizza just kind of is a bit of our lives.
Special place in your heart.
Yeah, my tummy heart. And so Mid-City was, I think it was a big shock for me, for sure. I thought Mid-City was not going to be as good of pizza as it was.
It was pretty good.
Yeah. It gave a nice crust. Like, it was a little doughy on the crust. Like, I guess I personally am more like New York, little thinner, but it was, just going to say it was good. It's good pizza. So if you're in the area and you're like, oh, I need pizza. I haven't had a slice in so long. Oh my God, I need some pizza. Head to Mid-City Pizza. It's dope. Or hop on the streetcar and take a little jolly old jaunt down to Louisiana Pizza Kitchen. It's not like California Pizza Kitchen. You're not getting too many crazy toppings. You got your basics. You got your meats and you.
I think we got calzones there.
I think I might have gotten a calzone, yeah. Or a stromboli. Not entirely sure what the difference is.
Yeah.
But I think we also got a pizza because Gumpy was there. It was good.
It was fine, I think.
Yeah, I think it was definitely not. It didn't hit the spot like I needed the pizza to hit the spot at that moment. It was much more similar to a restaurant that also sells pizza. And then the other restaurant I want to mention is Juan's Flying Burritos.
Fabulous.
Yeah, there were a couple through the city. It really doesn't matter where you are. We had one luckily right by our house. They were like within walking distance. And so it is a burrito place, obviously Mexican, great drinks. Which you can take out to go if you want.
Oh yeah, that was
we go for a walk and then we
fell in love with our server when he was like, "Oh, do you want
that to go
in a to-go cup?" Because I ordered as we were about to get the check as well.
Yeah, well, Poppy was also like saying because you had ordered a drink. I think we had the intention of sitting for a little bit longer, and then
it was time to go.
Yeah, it was time.
Poppy, yeah.
Without placing blame. But yeah, and then he basically said, "Hey man, you want that in a to-go? You want that in a to-go cup?"
Absolutely. But I got a lovely Jungle Bird cocktail in an extremely environmentally friendly styrofoam cup. And took it with us on the walk back.
Yeah, and there was also a great bookstore near the one that we were at. We were in Leonidas. It was a beautiful walk right along the streetcar. I don't know what those trees are in New Orleans, but they have beads hanging out of them just all over. It's like rainbow beads. They're like shiny gold. I don't know what the trees are called.
You're doing a joke?
I'm doing a bit. Yeah, okay. I was doing a bit about how they do they throw the beads in the trees and they hang everywhere. Yeah. Okay.
I was really confused.
Sorry. Well, don't laugh. If you're listening to this and you thought, I get it, that's funny. Don't laugh. Ryan doesn't want it.
The burritos were good. There was a good amount of variety. I feel like it's very Americanized burritos.
Yes. So I think when I think Americanized burritos, there's a difference of if a Mexican place is offering crema or sour cream. I think that's like my big... And I personally am more of a sour cream gal. I like my Americanized, and they were a sour cream place. But I also will say I'm not a meat person typically, and I had their chicken burrito, and it was dope as fuck.
Yeah, I think they had a
nice chorizo, I believe,
and a tofu. I think they had a Thai tofu type of burrito, and it was good variety.
Good variety, good options, good starters. We had a couple different chips and guac, chips and dip, and then I feel like we got other.
And outdoor seating was at almost all of them that I saw.
Yeah, I mean, like, please don't find the Juan's Flaming Burrito that doesn't have outside seating and then come for us. But, I think all the ones I saw that had outside seating, which I think is just always nice, especially when
you have a child.
When you're in a place where the weather is hit or miss. And so, like, to be outside when you have a nice day is
to
like
be outside, you know?
Oh.
Yeah, I agree. You got to make, especially in a new city, like it's just nice. I'm also team
outside most of the time.
Outdoor. Yeah, aquariums and outdoor eating. It's just.
I can't remember the name of the place. We went to another place right down the block. It was on the corner there. We went with Becca and it had wraparound seating. It was just me, Becca, and Poppy. The three of us went out. I think you might have had a meeting or something. We put Poppy on the bar and we got in trouble.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That place was great too. The food there was dope as fuck.
Was it called Oak? Or maybe it was next to Oak.
If you've listened to our other episodes, the things that I can't think of the name of, I will find out what they are and put them in the show notes. And in parentheses, it'll say the thing that I couldn't think of the name of. But if you're like, we want a nice meal, we don't want Mexican food, we want to sit down and have a nice meal and still be outside or whatever, that is for sure.
First of all, how dare you? And then second of all, this place is good for that.
I mean, not to say that you can't have a great meal at Juan's. It's just like a different atmosphere. If you're trying to impress your in-laws who are in town or something, let's take them there as opposed to the burrito joint. Unless your in-laws are cool like mine. Because they're down for burritos
probably
fairly often. I think that's for me.
That's a wrap.
That's wrap. I'm rapping on New Orleans. I really can't think of anything specifically. Succotath. Is this fun for you guys? Do you like that?
Is a burrito a wrap?
Come for us. Let us know. What do you think? Burrito wrap? It's gotta be.
It's just a white person's wrap, right?
Wrap is a white person's burrito. Yes. Yeah. I was like, no, I don't think that's right.
Right? It's like a chicken Caesar wrap is like the burrito.
Is it?
It's a yeah.
I think I think the thing about the wrap is it adds more lettuce. I feel like burritos usually have more beans and rice and then maybe a sprinkle of lettuce, where a wrap is mostly lettuce, sprinkle of other things. But hey, you can now comment in episodes. Do a comment. Tell us how we're wrong or right or great. Tell us we're great. That I would love that.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for listening.
Just tell them
Fuck you for listening.
Honestly, it's embarrassing for you. Turn this off. But if you're listening to this while you're sleeping, wake up and you feel so much better tomorrow. It's going to be a great day. You're going to be so happy.
Don't pee. Don't pee.
Don't pee. Anyway, this is the end of the episode. I love you. I love you. I love you. Bye. For those of you who love Momatic Adventures and just can't get enough, please head over to our Patreon. If you contribute, you can join in and be a part of our nomadic parenting community, as well as get some behind the scene content. And if you don't want any of that extra stuff, you can actually just click the support the show link in the info of this episode, and you can support the show for as little as $3. Any little bit helps us keep going. I do this entire podcast for the most part on my own. I am the editor. I am the scheduler. I am the planner, the interviewer, the marketing manager, and the all-around hat wearer. And truly, any support helps. And if you support us this week, next week, we will give you a shout out, a thank you directly to you on the episode, just, saying thanks so much for supporting us. And if you're like, hey, I would love to support, but I don't really have the money, or I don't want to give my money to you guys, that's totally cool too. There are so many other ways to support. You can head to Instagram, Threads, YouTube, all the social medias. We're under Momatic Adventure Pod. If you have an idea for the show, if you think you know somebody who would be a great guest, or if you just have a question or want to talk to me, you can send me a text. The info for that is also in the info of this episode. So there's links there for you to support the show, to text us, to follow our socials, blah, 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 blah.
Come, hold my hand. Let's go on an adventure.